Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's going on? So, why am I even making an audio about this? This one's called How to Have Sex Without Making Babies. You know, like, I feel like I'm insulting your intelligence by even making a audio about this, but for some reason, people still don't get this. They automatically think that having sex means you're going to get people pregnant. So the reason why I'm even doing this is because the other day, there was this dude, he put up like a picture of my book, How to Have Sex with Two Women a Day, with some other captions of him talking about, you're going to have a whole bunch of kids because you're having all this sex and all this other craziness, right? And then so I put it up, it on my wall, and then, other people, mainly women, were saying, well, yeah, if you have all this sex with all these people, it increases your chances of getting women pregnant and all this other stuff, right? But see, this is the thing, right? It's not about you just having sex. That is the thing that's, making it, increase your chances of having, kids. It's about the way that you're doing it. And I said this shit like a million times, like every time when I get interviewed on a radio show, they're always like, oh, but if you're having all this sex, there's going to be all these unwanted pregnancies. And I'm like, no, people can't be this simple-minded. So I'm going to tell you guys, how to have sex without making babies. Okay, so if you want to have a lot of sex and all that other stuff and you don't want to make babies, I'm going to talk about it in this audio. And I'm going to talk about, why even thinking that just purely having sex is going to equal or is going to make you have a whole bunch of babies is ridiculous. Okay? So, first thing I want to talk about is how ridiculous this shit is. Okay? See, the thing is, it's people like to just blame sex. They say, well, you're having sex, so since you're having all this sex, then you're going to get someone pregnant. It's most likely you're going to get somebody pregnant. And the thing is, I'm saying that it's about the way that you're doing it. So a lot of people who usually get people pregnant are people who are having unprotected sex. See, the thing is, people don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit that they're actually having unprotected sex. They want to just be like, well, sex, and when you have sex, and then that's how you have kids, and you're having all these unwanted pregnancies and child support. No, the reason why you're having that is because you're not being responsible with your sex life. It's really that simple. See, saying that sex purely is the only thing that's going to, make it more likely that you're going to have babies is kind of like saying, well, going to college, just going to college is going to make you get a job. Huh? How many of y'all listen to this right now have college degrees and you're unemployed? Right? So maybe you're probably going to say something like, well, you're more likely to get a job if you have a college degree, right? Now, you can more likely get a job if you have a college or a better paying job if you actually apply yourself, if you actually do something instead of like sitting on your ass, because you can have a degree and sit on your ass. But if you actually go out and network and do certain things, then yes, that degree can work for you and make these things happen. But that's you actually doing something else besides just having a college degree. So by you doing that something else is what makes this other thing happen. So it's not just about having a college degree. It's about you doing that something else to make you get that job. So it's the same thing with sex. It's not just about the sex. It's about you doing that something else, which is going to make you get pregnant. And that something else is you having the unprotected sex that is going to make you get pregnant. It's not just the sex. It's the unprotected sex. So it's not just the college degree. It's what you're doing with that degree or, with that situation to make shit work in the way you want it to work. I'll give you another example. It's kind of like saying that just sex is going to make you get pregnant, right? It's like saying, well, just getting a job is going to make you make six figures. Just get a job, you'll make six figures. It's just getting a job is going to make you six figures. It's the same thing as saying just having a lot of sex is going to make you have babies. No. Can you get a job that makes you six figures? Yes. Right? But it has to be a certain kind of job that will get you those six figures. Right? So when we talk about sex, it's a certain kind of sex that you're having that will make you have babies. Is this getting a little simpler for you? You understand? So to say, oh, just get a job is going to make you six figures is ridiculous. It's the kind of job you get that will make you six figures. So just saying, well, just having all the sex with all these people is going to make you have kids. No, it's the kind of sex you're having that's going to make you have kids. And the kind of sex that you're having that makes you have kids is having unprotected sex. So you just trying to blame sex within itself is ridiculous. So stop blaming sex, and how about you look in the mirror and take responsibility for what you're doing in your sexual life, in your sexual situations. But nobody wants to do that. So this is the thing. If you don't want to have babies, if you want to have sex and you don't want to have babies, or you don't want to have babies or whatever, as a guy, always wear condoms. And I've said this many times. Wear condoms. When you're about to ejaculate outside the vagina with the condom still on. Right? Make sure you always have your own condoms. Don't use a woman's condoms because she might tamper with them. And you'll be pretty much all right. And the funny part is this is what I find hilarious, because even on Facebook, I'm going back and forth with a couple of, ladies or whatever. And they're saying, oh, but, it's these men and they need to stop telling us, let me just stick it in and let me just do this one thing and let me do that. And the thing is that just because they're saying it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Right? Doesn't mean you have to actually say, yeah, just go on me raw, whatever. But also another thing that I find interesting is that there are certain times of the month, where women are least likely to get pregnant. Huh? So Mr. Locario, so what you're saying is not only can the man also do stuff like wear condoms and make sure that, he's using the condom right, but the woman can also, know when the time is right for her to not get pregnant. So then those two people can have as much sex as they want, plan that out so that they don't have any babies. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Locario? Yes, that's what I'm saying. So when people try to act like they're slow and they don't know what's going on and they just want to, oh, well, if you have sex, then you're going to have babies. Or you have sex and the more sex you're going to have, the more babies you're going to have. That's bullshit. Now, could there be a situation where you have protected sex and, something happens where the girl gets pregnant? Yes, that can happen. But that's usually rare. That actually happens where if you're actually using a condom correctly, and if the woman knows that she's having sex with you around the time when she is least likely to get pregnant, right? Then you're most likely you guys are most likely going to not have a baby. But there are times when that shit can happen, but it's usually rare. It's kind of like saying a person who is becoming a singing star or whatever, or a recording artist, in the average type of person like that, they're going to work on their craft for years, do a lot of shows, just do a whole bunch of shit to get to that point where they're that superstar. Now, could somebody be just singing on a street corner and somebody discover them? Yes, that could happen, but that's more rare than what actually happens. So the same thing with the whole sex thing is that, yes, you can, there could be a time where you're having protected sex and she's, at that point where she most likely can't get pregnant and she could get pregnant. That can happen, but it's rare. But see, the thing is that people They just want to blame sex and not take personal responsibility. Because somebody might say, oh, well, you know what if I'm having sex and then the condom breaks and then it's a mistake? Listen, there's ways for you to check the condom while you're having sex, so that you can see if it's worn out. You take it off, put on a new one. I might have to do a whole damn, like, tutorial on this motherfucker of, like, how to use condoms correctly and shit like that, so that people could know how to do this. You understand? Like, the thing is, a lot of times the reason why people get pregnant or they have babies is because they actually wanted to have a baby. Either, you know, one of the people or both of the people wanted to have the kid. Because if they didn't want to have the kid, they wouldn't have had the kid. What happens is that you'll get sometimes where the guy will just not use a condom, even though he know what could happen. He just won't use the condom, and then they'll end up getting pregnant. Or the girl, she knows it's at that time of the month where she most likely to get pregnant, and she'll still do the guy raw, without him having a condom on, and then it's just like, oh, well, we just got pregnant. And then when people are talking about sex, everyone's like, no, sex, don't do it, because you're going to get pregnant every time you have sex. And it's like, no, you got pregnant because you were being irresponsible. Listen, I've had sex with over 100 women, used condoms, no babies. Me and my girl been together for almost damn near 8 years, right? And we have no kids. We had sex hundreds of thousands of times. So, I mean, what is it? We were just like, we're just an anomaly? Like, how about think of somebody that is, your best friend or an acquaintance who has sex, probably has a lot of sex. There's some people who have lots of sex. I know, this girl personally, who on certain days and shit, I known that she's had sex with probably I remember one time it was like 5 guys in one day, and she gets down crazy. No kids. You understand? So, guys, just you got to understand that it's not just about the sex. It's about how you are doing it. It's really that simple. So stop blaming sex. Take personal responsibility for your own shit, and things will work out for you. It's really that simple. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, that's all I wanted to say for today. If you guys have any questions, hit me up at askmrlocario@gmail.com. Make sure you get my book, How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. And I will holler at you guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.